Coming up, here's part 2 of the greatest female rock singer ever. Sit down, and most of this interview, save for a few minutes here and there, most of this has never been shown. Ann Wilson of Heart takes us from the late 80s through the 90s and up to now with the stories of the songs and the albums that made Heart one of the greatest bands in history, including the song that saved their career, plus the song that became their biggest hit of the last 35 years, but Ann Wilson hates it so much she's refused to play it for decades. Plus the song she took a step back and actually let her sister Nancy, who was the guitarist and backing vocals, sing, and it became a smash, as well as tackling really the most revered song in rock history. And she sang it in front of her heroes, made one of them cry and another one smile, plus her impact on grunge and the new millennium. Going through all of them, here's Ann Wilson. Talking kind of about self-titled Heart. That was a big record, and it's where you guys started to lose yourselves and what you were doing. You were coming out of a year where Footloose and Born in the USA and Prince Purple Rain, Michael Jackson Thriller, Police Synchronicity, all these huge blockbuster records that were selling 10 million copies.
That's right.
That pressure that you have from the record company, I've talked to many artists, and was a very real pressure. Tell me about that.
Yeah. Well, we were really blessed at that moment. It was a blessing in disguise now, looking back, that Capitol Records decided they were talked into believing in us again by Don Grierson, their A&R guy, a really amazing human being. Don just basically talked them into it. They were all like, they're over. And Don went, no, I can get the songs. This is really a good singer shit. When they play together, people love them, Yeah. They can do it. And thanks to Don, we got the chance to make this record and have it produced by Ron Nevison. You know that song, Crossroads?
Yeah.
Because we wanted to keep going. We wanted to do what it took. To have that kind of a smash and be on MTV and have a #1 record and singles and wear cool clothes. And so we unabashedly did it. We listened to piles and piles of other people's songs, LA Songwriter Pool songs. And plus we were still writing our own, but the songs we were writing were just they weren't what was
the excess of the 80s.
Wanted. Yeah. So we got a few songs on there, but most of it was outside songwriters.
Yeah.
Luckily, These Dreams.
Oh yeah,
which is a great song.
These dreams go on when I close my eyes.
There were some good songs on that Heart record and on Bad Animals. But those 2 records were the 2 records, as you say, where we really did lose ourselves from our old selves, We were doing it for the purpose of selling records.
Yeah. Having success and dying inside is what I've heard you say before. And that's kind of being stifled creatively. But I also think, Never has always been a song I've loved. Even as much as when I first heard it in the 80s, I still have it in my playlist because I think your harmonies are so great in that song together. And you guys wrote it, and you also wrote it under the pseudonym Connie, right?
Yes, we did.
Yeah. I remember looking at that and seeing that and, talking amongst my friends. Like, remember Prince used to do that with his records. He'd write them under a pseudonym, Alexander Nevermind and different things. And I said, hey,
and Paul
they
McCartney
did
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that was kind of fun. Where did Connie come from when he did it?
Well, that was from, for a while it seemed like every Gidget movie, every beach blanket movie had a bunch of girls in it whose names were Connie. Or the actresses who were in it were all named Connie.
Connie, yep.
And so we thought it was funny for Nancy and Sue Ennis and Holly Knight and myself we were all Connie.
Yeah.
It was like guys calling each other dude. And so we were Connie. And we still are to this day sometimes, only now the spellings vary. Sometimes it's Kahn, sometimes it's Con.
Yep. Well, what about Love? Also another top 10. And you had 4 top 10 hits from that album.
What about love? Don't you want someone to care about
very big success, 5 million sold, you know, and, but what about Love? What I love about that is the Family Guy episode.
Oh yeah, with the little with the beans.
These beats go on when I close my eyes.
What about Beans? And,
Yeah, right.
and you guys recorded your voices for that song. That was cool. And I saw it, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's got to be them.
Yeah,
And it was.
It was, and it was fun, and it was funny, and I didn't feel like we did anything against the
No.
songs at all.
Right.
You know? I mean, that was just take it easy. You know?
Were you kind of sitting there though at that time and going, I don't know about this. This just feels, you know, because I mean they're very synth driven songs. I mean even Springsteen though, who I'm a huge Springsteen fan, Tunnel of Love, which is one of the great albums out there. But it's still, I mean, I'd rather him have recorded it without synthesizers.
Yeah, very synth driven.
I've been waiting for you.
There are all these new toys, all this new digital stuff, and everybody wanted to play with every toy on every song.
On every record.
That's just something we had to live through.
Yeah.
Because,
It's part of the story though,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Well, in Bad Animals, I mean, I remember riding my bicycle, I was 11 years old, to this I lived in Blackfoot, Idaho, a little small town, and they had this market called J&B's Market, and they would sell cassette tapes there. And I remember buying Bad Animals the day it came out. I remember riding my bicycle down there and getting it and pouring through it, and Alone. I mean, just one of your signature songs. Let's talk about that for a second, because we just interviewed Billy Steinberg a couple weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
He said to tell you hi. He said, I
love Billy
last
Steinberg.
time I saw Anne, you know, I think it was 1991, and she had a baby with her and everything, or something like that. But tell me about riding with Billy and Tom Kelly and, you know, that experience.
Tom Kelly and Billy Steinberg are really talented guys.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're some of the more talented songwriting teams I've ever seen. I mean, True Colors and the songs that they came up with were just so good. Alone was, I don't know if they had the idea that it was for me to sing. I'm not sure about that.
He said that he had recorded on a previous album that he was going to do, and it was kind of a throwaway song, not a throwaway song, but it just wasn't meshing for him.
Yeah.
And it did when he brought it to you after that.
Yeah.
He kind of reworked the lyric a little bit.
Yeah.
I hear the ticking of the clock. I'm lying here.
You know, I'm kind of a drama queen, and you know, that song was perfect for a drama queen.
Yeah.
It's so theatrical. It still works live today in that theatrical sense. We brought it way down small live, but it's still, that doesn't matter. The song is, it doesn't matter if it's acoustic or if it's the big 80s overkill thing, you know, it's still, the song calls the shot.
Well, it's got to be hard to sing other people's songs, but that was a song that, yes, those guys wrote it, but like Frank Sinatra, you made it your song. I mean, that's a great interpretation, because, you know, a lot of people get mixed in that, well, I can't listen to that because they didn't write it, but gosh, Frank Sinatra didn't write anything, and Elvis either, you know. But for what Frank did so well was, I mean, he could take a song that Judy Garner or Masters had done, and he made it his song, like he wrote it. And that's how Alone is with you, with your voice. Because there's been a lot of divas that have done it. Celine and Carrie Underwood, powerhouse voices. Nobody touches Ann Wilson on that song for my money.
Well, thank you.
I mean, absolutely.
It's an amazing song, and it's really simple, but it's kind of like zipping open the zipper to your soul, you know, if you're going to sing that song. You can't have anything in reserve. You know?
Well, it became like kind of that American Idol like staple for every female singer to attempt to showcase her vocals. But What I love is Ron Nevison. I was reading somewhere where you guys would sing "Bad Medicine" to Ron Nevison.
Yeah.
But you were kind of butting heads. But he told you in that second verse, you know, hey, let's delay for you to go into that second chorus, and you know, come up with something.
Yeah.
And you let out this just heavenly scream, you know. And I've heard the song 500 times. Every time I hear that scream, it's one of the greatest emotions, you know, ever put down on a pop album or a pop record.
Wow.
You know, tell me about that moment. Yeah.
About the
scream. Yeah. About that moment where you improvised.
Shriek.
Yeah.
The key that the song was in is here.
Yeah.
The scream is an octave up. And emotionally, the song goes here and it goes up to here. So to me, it's very natural to go like, alone, you know, or whatever key it's in. I don't have relative pitch, but emotionally, it just was one of those, I'm attached to this key, but I'm going to take it way up there because I'm feeling way more than 13 tones. I'm sorry if I'm talking in musical gibberish, but what I mean is it's a soul, at least an octave, you know, soul jump. It's nothing about being careful. It's about letting everything out, you know.
It's one of those moments on a record where I remember as a kid, because you have the cassette, rewinding it and playing it again, rewinding it and playing it again. I mean, you probably remember taking records and listening to parts again and just going, what was that? That power of music, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that was another record where, you know, Who You Run To was the big pop hit. It went to number 7. But for me, Easy Target was the song that I liked most about that record. Tell me about that song real quick.
Oh, that was one of the songs that Nancy and Sue Ennis and I wrote. We were still out there slugging, trying, you know, still like being told no all the time, but still just trying.
Pushing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to rock. In fact, at one point, you know, we were writing all these ballads and everyone was going, you know what was telling us, what people really like about you the most is when you rock. Women who rock. That had become the soundbite at the time, and it became real tiresome to us at a point. We felt we had an obligation to rock, right?
Yeah.
Because we're such divas. But so
somebody's telling you to do something. I mean, if you're a rocker, you're going to rebel and want to do the opposite.
Exactly.
You know? So no diva there.
Like,
just a rocker.
Why did the Democrat cross the road? Because somebody told him not to. Right? Why the Republican crossed the road? You know, it's just like. So yeah, we were going like, well, we got to rock. So you know, and it's because I'm a woman, right? And so I have to rock.
Right.
So that makes us easy targets. You know, we were just like getting kind of, I don't know, prickly about everything. Yeah. We probably should have taken a vacation or something long about this point. But no, but we didn't because we are songwriters. We got to the point in our thinking finally where it was, well, we may never have a number 1 hit, but what really turns us on is writing songs. So we're going to do it.
Well, I mean, for those records, though, in the 80s, I mean, they really are some of the best examples of AOR rock at its finest, you know?
Yeah.
You know?
And there was still AOR, so you could hear Easy Target.
I got to ask you about your other great duet with Robin Zander, Surrender to Me. Great song.
So baby, surrender to me.
How'd that come about?
Robin Zander's one of the better male singers of our time.
Absolutely.
Is it that we've been together much too long?
Not only rock, but he has been known to sing Gilbert and Sullivan. He can just do just about anything he wants.
Yeah.
Surrender to Me was one of those moments where two record companies went, hey, this might work. And little did they know that Robin and I already knew each other. We'd already played together a lot with Cheap Trick. And we just had a blast. We just got together and laughed and did the session and went back to the hotel afterward and had more of a blast. It was just pure fun. And it was so great to get to sing such a beautiful song with such a beautiful man's voice.
Oh, yeah.
Person as Robin.
Well, Paul Rogers is one of my favorites too. You mentioned him. Have you had a chance to do it with him?
Not yet, but I still would love it.
I got to ask you about one of my favorite stories is when you, All I Want to Do Is Make Love to You, was kind of pushed on you guys. I read that, Don Henley was going to record it or something. You recorded it. Of course, it becomes a big hit. And I mean, I love Heart, but I hate that song. Probably just like you do.
Brother!
I heard
I love Heart. I hate
what
that
the
song
heck
too.
is going on? But I love how years later, you guys were going to put it back in the set and you're starting to sing it and you're like, F it, I'm not doing this.
No.
Tell me that story.
The thing about All I Want to Do Is Make Love to You is that, and I'm no prude, I'm not a Victorian woman or a prudish woman about where sexuality is concerned. But when you took those words that were written to be sung by a man about casual sex with a hitchhiker, and you flip the gender, it took on, it was shocking to be sure.
Right.
But for me, it took on a grossness.
A creepiness,
A creepiness, yeah.
right.
Exactly right. I sang it and everything, and people really liked the groove of it, and I think a lot of people like the idea of like, hey, yeah, the woman in the driver's seat for a change, Well, okay, but that only goes so far. I mean,
nothing against Mutt Lange. He's incredible.
He's great.
Yeah,
he's great. He's really talented.
I think you're right. I think I've thought it that way, but turning it around, it kind of just
something weird happens there. That's I wasn't ready to just keep singing it decade after decade after decade. I think I matured past it in about 10 minutes. But it was really great to have a hit, and it gave us...
Well, in 1990 too, so it gave you a third straight decade with a top 10 hit. And
and they banned it in Ireland.
I know.
Which gave us cred, Yeah. So that was a cool thing.
That may have not even happened to you too. No, I'm just kidding. But I want to ask you too about The Night. With Sammy Hagar. Tell me about recording with Sammy, because Denny Carmassi, is that how you say his last name? Was in Sammy's original band.
He came to Heart from Montrose, and he and Sam were really good friends. And that's how we made the contact to be able to write with Sammy. And of course, at that moment, everyone was reading the Anne Rice vampire books for the first time. They were so popular, and Interview with the Vampire and that whole series had taken over the culture. So of course we wanted to write a song. Yeah. About all those folks. Sam was a real easy, he's a really great guy, easy, real nice guy. And the friendship between he and Denny Carmassi really cemented, that was the liaison between Nancy and I, and we all worked well. We played well together. And you guys have played quite a few times live together, you and Sammy. Yeah.
And he's, I went down to his studio. We were sitting there talking. I mean, I'm just a huge Sammy Hagar fan. So we realized, oh my gosh, 3 hours have gone by. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's just, yeah. Another song that I love from Brigade is Under the Sky.
Morning light out under the sky.
I thought that was
Yes,
a
thank you.
little bit of almost kind of seeing back into what Heart used to be.
The old,
you know?
yeah.
Yep.
I agree. And that was such a refreshing moment for us because we didn't have to try anything. We stopped trying.
Yeah.
We just did it. You know, Nancy just played the acoustic like she does. You know, she did that thing she does. And
very inspired.
we went out to the beach where we always would go to write, and some finger just reached down and went, yes, this time.
Sometimes that's probably what it feels like,
Yeah.
right?
And
Right.
that song is about release and escape.
Yeah.
And just
Absolutely.
getting out from under something heavy.
Under the sky.
And also, I love that you guys own, Bad Animal Studios in Seattle. Automatic for the People was mixed there.
Tons of stuff, yeah.
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 It's one of the great records. And then, of course, Pearl Jam and Johnny Cash recorded there, that Willie Nelson tribute album.
Yeah.
So what was that like, owning a recording studio?
Well, we, of course, with help and everything, we designed the place.
Yeah.
And built it and spent all our money on it.
Yeah.
We had some gripes about what studios were like. There was never a beautiful bathroom that a woman would like to go into and take a shower and hang out with cool products and stuff. So we made sure we had that at Bad Animals. And that's a silly thing, but
No.
when you live in the studio, sometimes it's not silly.
Yeah.
It was comfortable. It was nice to be in. It made people feel good to be in there. And it had one of the first great big computers in it, the first great big SSL boards. And it was the only place at that time in Seattle where you could go to a state-of-the-art studio. So at that moment, that's when grunge was born.
Alice in Chains recorded.
Became known.
Yeah.
It had been going in Seattle for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so Bad Animals was where they all came to have food fights and burn cigarette holes in the desk and break everything, and so we'd have to repair it, and they'd sleep under the board and shoot up in the beautiful restroom.
Oh man,
all
very
this kind of
rock and roll.
So yeah, it definitely got its launch. It's
Quite a legacy, because not only Automatic for the People, but Neil Young, Mirrorball, and just some great records there.
all kinds of people.
I want to ask you about Love Mongers. On the single soundtrack, Battle of Evermore, and then the EP that you guys put out. I remember getting that, and your version of Papa Was a Rolling Stone. Tell me about putting that together.
Well, Nancy took a break from Heart. She was married at that time to Cameron Crowe, and he was working on the movies Singles and Almost Famous and Jerry Maguire and
that
one
one
string
of my favorite
of
directors.
movies that he had. Oh yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Great screenwriter too.
Yeah.
Help me help you. Help me help you.
He had asked her to, what are you kicking around the world in this band that can hardly get arrested for when you can just stay home with me and score my movies? So she came to me and said, I'm gone.
Okay.
And so, with a big gulp, I accepted it, And I went out and did my own thing in some bands, the Ann Wilson Project type bands for a while.
Yeah.
And Nancy came with our current manager, our natural manager, Carol Peters, to see one of these bands I was in. Nancy kind of went, whoa, that's a pretty good singer. It wasn't long after that she we got together just to start jamming again. And we put the Love Mongers together with Sue Ennis and this guy, Frank Cox. Just a personal friend, you know,
Yeah.
social. With a great Irish tenor voice and could really play. Just the four of us, just to sing harmonies and have fun. And we took a gig, a benefit gig in Seattle. It was during the first Desert Storm War.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a Red Cross benefit, support the troops, bring them home. It was a little bit of both. Support the troops, but bring them home.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn it.
Yeah.
And, or support the troops by bringing them home. Anyway, we played this benefit, and the Love Mongers. We just thought of the name the day before because we had to have a name.
Great name.
And we did some anti-war songs like The Great Mandela. And
The great Mandela.
it was so much fun
Oh, yeah.
that we decided to keep doing it. And we just started taking gigs. And of course, nobody wanted to pay money to hire this unknown group, the Love Mongers, even though Ann and Nancy Wilson of Heart were in it.
Right.
Because we weren't playing Heart songs. I think we played Crazy on You, and that was about the only one. We, once again, spent all our own money on it and didn't make a red cent doing it. Went in the hole. But we did the Love Mongers for, God, 4 years or
Yeah.
something like that. Made 2 records.
A trick of light on our eyes.
I was the singing bass player and learned how to play the bass moderately well.
Yeah, yeah.
I wouldn't call myself a virtuoso by a long shot.
Right.
But that was really fun for me to get to be something more than the singer. And when you play bass and sing lead, and you're being in the pocket with the drummer,
Yep.
you're splitting your brain, you know.
Oh,
And
yeah.
So every part of yourself is being used to as full as possible
Utilized, yeah.
musically. And I really liked that. So that's about the Love Mongers. Then Cameron asked if we would do Battle of Evermore on a soundtrack he was doing, the single soundtrack.
It's a great treat for fans too, because I remember getting the CD, or maybe it was a cassette tape the first time I bought the EP, but Whirlywig when it came out in '97 and had that kind of grunge looking. It kind of had
Whirligig.
almost looked
Yeah.
like Everclear,
Yeah.
before Everclear kind of thing. But I mean, it's just some great music.
We were living in Seattle, being influenced by what was going
Yeah.
on there, and just we were out of touch with the music industry, and so it was a period of freedom from any kind of expectation.
I'm getting to record with
Great.
Alice in Chains on their EP, Sap. You sang
Yeah.
a couple songs on there, or sang with them on there. And then I love how kind of Lane Staley not returned the favor, but he sang on the Dylan song,
Yeah,
Ring Them Bells,
it's the last thing he ever did.
Yeah.
Bells, ring them bells.
Such a talented singer.
Lane Staley was lit from within. He had a lot of struggles, but when he was on, the light was definitely on.
Well, for me, Alice in Chains was as powerful as Nirvana or Pearl Jam, because I remember more of the day that Lane died than the day that Kurt died, almost as much.
Yeah.
I remember exactly where I was
Yeah.
at, where I was like, and a sadness came over, because I just love those songs so much.
Both those deaths were really sad for the people left behind.
Absolutely.
I imagine they were really liberating for those who went on. But yeah, I agree. I mean, when Kurt went, it was such a big covered thing. It was just, they were so huge, and grunge had evolved to the point where it was so big that it wasn't innocent. It was not an innocent death, you know.
Yeah. Well,
Lane was Lane
For
was definitely-
me, you talk about your Beatles moment, but Smells Like Teen Spirit was my Ed Sullivan moment.
Yeah.
My generation's
Yeah.
for sure. Because I remember, it was a weird time because the 80s had turned into the 90s, but it wasn't the 90s yet. It was still the 80s, even though it was 1990, 91. And you had Unbelievable and all those kind of songs on there. And then you had like this kind of, the new Jack Swing going on. And then all of a sudden, this out of nowhere, Smells Like Teen Spirit. It's like,
that was one of those tsunami moments.
wow.
Where wash away everything that came before it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I want to talk about in 95 when The Road Home came out. That was, for Heart fans, that was a great moment because that felt like a return to your roots in a fashion because of the way you did those songs, and it felt so, just not overproduced. It just felt real and organic. Tell me about that.
Well, for a couple of Seattle Led Zeppelin fans and Nancy
John
Wilson,
Paul Jones.
It was an amazing moment because he produced that. And he actually came to town for 3 weeks, maybe for a month, and we rehearsed for 3 weeks in this club called the Backstage in Ballard, which is an area of Seattle, We worked it out the way it was going to be, all the songs. John Paul wrote all the string charts.
Wanna go crazy, crazy on you.
I think we had a 12-person section come in, strings.
Yeah.
And then we did 5 nights in a row in front of people in this club. Of course, that's, for a singer, that's pretty challenging because first you rehearse for 3 weeks straight and then you sing for 5 nights straight. Nancy and I would, when John Paul first came to town, we started going there every night and working with him and everything. And he was such a gentleman and so unassuming, so down to earth. Led Zeppelin stories had to be dragged out of him. He wasn't sitting around going, "Oh yeah, let me tell you,"
Yeah.
Not at all. I mean, we would go back to the car after having worked with him and get in the car and go, "Can you believe it? Can you believe it?" We were such fans, And
Just so you know, that's what's happening right now inside here. It may not show that,
okay,
but it is kind of going on here as well.
Well, thank you. I guess.
No,
but anyway,
absolutely.
We were really in awe of him as a person and his legacy and as a musician. I mean, he is such an unsung hero in Led Zeppelin.
Well, speaking of Automatic for the People, he did the string arrangements on Automatic for the People. It's a huge part of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And he was also working with the Butthole Surfers right then. And, all these really, really out there other
Just
artists.
awesome.
And then he said, I'm going to go work with Hart. You know? And it worked really well.
On the road home, you got the radio on.
He's an emotional guy, a very deep spirit. And one night after we did Crazy on You, where he was playing bass, playing my bass, my Love Monger bass.
Yeah.
I said, "Here," and he put it the way he liked it, and I haven't changed it since. But after we had played Crazy on You, one night I turned around and there were tears rolling down his face, and he said, "How do you do that?" And the one who stood next to Robert Plant all those years said this to me, I mean, that's the type of experience it was. It was just, oh my God,
Yeah. I'm not worthy.
Yeah, really.
Oh, yeah.
So, no, we had a really astounding experience making that.
Absolutely.
Dog and butterfly.
And,
Back to Avalon on that is one of my favorites. Because, the record, that was, it just had such a just a great version of that on that record.
Yeah, Back to Avalon, yeah.
Straight and high, back to Avalon.
That's another Nancy Wilson. If you were going to say, pick an acoustic guitar thing where Nancy really does Nancy.
Yep.
I'd say that'd be one of them.
I want to talk about Jupiter's Darling, which in 2004 when it came out, I mean, it was such a fresh breath of air for fans, longtime Heart fans of that original signature sound. Tell me about how it's just amazing tapestry of songs, how that record came together.
Yeah. Are there 14 songs on that record? It's some amazing, huge number of songs.
A lot of songs.
And every one of them brilliant, we thought.
No, I love it. Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, it was a reminder of that kind of intricate, perfect partnership that you guys have.
Yeah. And Craig Bartok, who is still playing with us, was new to the band then, and he and Nancy had met here in LA, and they were writing together and had really struck up a friendship. And so when Heart reunited to make Jupiter's Darling, we thought, well, we're going to produce ourselves. We're just going to come hell or high water. It doesn't matter what happens to this. Paul Allen let us use his place in Seattle for free.
Yeah.
We just went in. We just did it. We worked until it was done. Did exactly what we wanted, and it was an amazing sense of freedom. And Mike Inez, who played bass on that? Was it Mike Inez?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Mike Inez.
Yeah.
Mikey. Yeah, that's right. It
Yeah.
was, because the very presence of Mike Inez makes every situation a lot more crazy. So that was one of our biggest party albums, I think. The making of that it was wild. It was as if somebody had given us an Alice in Chains shot, you know, and we were all like, yeah, okay. I mean, in a good way. And
tell me a little bit about
hard.
Enough. Such a pretty song.
Enough, yeah. It's funny because we just pulled that out again and added a bridge to it last week.
Oh wow!
So now
love to hear that.
Yeah, now it's like it's still Enough, but it's different.
Yeah.
Enough was a song that I wrote with Craig Bartok, and he turns out to be one of the easiest people I've ever written with. He just has this natural musical ability, and he'll lay down a track and he'll hum, not even a melody, he'll just kind of hum along with his guitar playing. But something about his humming implies words to me, implies melodies to me. It just went like that. It just fell into our laps.
He's sweet enough, he's man enough.
And it just so happened I had a big mad crush on this guy right then. And never turned out, but I had this big crush on this guy, so it came naturally.
Reach out for me.
Well, and I remember, the download that was available was only an extra download. Is your version of Good Vibrations. As Brian Wilson, was he a big influence on?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Give me a little bit of insight into that, because that's a great version. I love how you approach that song.
Well, you don't mess with a song like that. You just want to get to the soul of it and be in touch with the most internal meaning of it. So we tried to do it and make it our own a bit, but not too much. Some songs are holy.
Oh, yeah.
They just are.
Yeah.
Like Stairway to Heaven or anything else. It's just, you don't mess with it,
Yeah. Well, I mean, Brian, just, the word gets thrown out, I think, too much in the world right now, but just a genius, musical genius.
Yeah, I agree with you. A's are given too easily.
Yeah.
Where the word genius goes. But Brian is definitely in the A class. And he is, he's just a brilliant, cerebral soul.
Yeah.
And I don't think he cares about the material world at this point.
He's just real.
This is just my idea now. I don't think he cares about following the rules or doing things the way anybody says he should. He's Brian.
Red Velvet Car. I am a big fan of that record because it seems like these days some classic rock, they come together for marketing reasons. Sometimes they come together for some, I guess, need to do it, or to driven need to reconnect with the past. But some exist just merely for the music, and that's what I love about that record. It really feels real and soulful. And tell me about how you put those songs together.
Red Velvet Car came together as a result of us getting to know Ben Mink, a producer. I had made a solo album several years before with Ben Mink called Hope and Glory, and I really, really had a great experience and introduced Nancy to him because I knew that they would really hit it off, and they did.
Oh, yeah.
It was almost like they were cut from the same bolt. And he plays fiddle and guitar. He plays just about anything he can lay his hands on. Plays in a klezmer band and plays rock and, everything. Possibly another genius. But we got together with him and started writing as a threesome. And it was easy, it was fun, it was hilarious. We'd have long talks about the world first, and then something would come from one of these. And that was when I first had gotten sober. And so the song Red Velvet Car kind of was born out of that experience for me.
Standing in the rain.
Nancy and Ben were both so supportive, and I think by that time, Rick Markman was playing bass. And all of those people were, it was just such a warm, supportive experience for me. And it came out musically.
In my red velvet car.
Ben Mink has so much to do with it because he's such a good producer. I would say he's my favorite producer that we've ever worked with. I would work with him again in a heartbeat.
Well, you can tell, your music on both that and Fanatic are so inspired.
Yeah.
Feels like sounds like you guys are truly inspired on those albums.
Yeah, and he really is the guy who will say, not that, no. Don't write songs that say hold on, that are just all about hold on, baby. No, don't do that. You can do better than that. How about something deeper?
Your weary bones inside.
He was always, in both Red Velvet Car and Fanatic, was always reaching for that heart thing, the original heart thing. He was the first one to say, nah, that's, you're copying somebody or you're being too easily influenced, or let's get more original, but let's keep it us,
Yeah, it feels like it's not a striving to replicate it, more as it's just to add to it.
Reconnect.
Yeah.
Red velvet car.
I got to ask you about Geddy Lee and the whistle.
Well, Ben Mink is a Canadian and grew up in Toronto on the same street as Geddy, and they were best friends and still are really close friends. Ben was back in Toronto during the making of that album, and he and Geddy were hanging out, and somehow Geddy's whistle got recorded on Ben's iPhone. And we did a lot of stuff, took a lot of sounds for both those two albums off of Ben's phone and just put them up on the board and used them, made them big. And the whistle was one of them.
Got to ask you about Fanatic, which Dear Old America, such a great song. Tell me about that for a father that was in the...
He was a Marine,
Yeah.
And he was in the war, in the World War II in the Pacific. and also in the Korean War, and was really badly wounded both times.
Yeah.
And, you know, came back alive and everything, but his worst wound was PTSD, which, as anybody knows, you know, echoes down through generations and
Definitely.
throughout families. So when we wrote that song, we really were thinking of him. We were thinking about the young men and women who are out there now.
Gotta ask you about Marshala.
Mashallah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's, I mean, it's the modern version of Kashmir in a way. It's kind of reintroducing that feel. Yeah. Tell me how that came about.
Well, mashallah is in Arabic.
Yeah.
Means it's God's will. And, you know, everybody, just about every religious or culture that is religiously based has some way of saying, oh, it's God's will, you know, it was meant to be, it's fate, you know. But mashallah is in more common, you know, urban use now. I mean, somebody says, hey, my kid got an A on his math test, and the other guy goes, oh, mashallah, you know. It isn't like in deep religious use. So when we used it, I just loved the sound of that word, and I loved what it meant, that like, hey, yeah, you know, it's meant to be. And so our song talks about love between people, not just romantic love, but global. That's the thing, that's what's keeping us alive, basically. That's what's keeping us from the abyss right now, is this thread of whatever love we can scrape up for each other globally. So, mashallah, in this sense, is like, it's gotta be. Please bring it down, you know.
Music, you can sing a song and it brings everybody together. Everybody's singing the same words. You see that all the time at your concert. I got to ask you about Led Zeppelin, about, you know, at the Kennedy Honors, because that's, I mean, my wife and I have watched that on YouTube probably, I don't know, 15 times. You know, Stairway to Heaven. Cool. And I mean, here you are, you're attempting the Gettysburg Address of rock and roll,
I know,
right?
I know.
And you got the president and the first lady sitting there, and you got, you know, you got Robert
Stephen
Plant
Colbert,
and Jimmy Page and John Paul Jones, Led Zeppelin, you know, the golden gods of rock there. And I mean, you, with that choir and with that, I mean, that opened up, you blew the roof off the place. And it was one of those moments in music where, I mean, you probably were sitting there going, Jimmy Page has got a smile from ear to ear. Robert Plant's tearing up. That choir, I mean, what did that feel like? Take us to that moment, because that is incredible.
At that moment, there was real stillness for me, because we had a gig the night before down in Florida, private plane, go down, do the gig, come back to Washington, go to the White House. I mean, it was this huge whirling bunch of events that led up to that moment. And so Nancy and I were standing behind the curtain right before we walked on to do it. And Nancy started freaking out, like, I'm really nervous. Her eyes got really big. And so we just looked at each other and went, hold this until after, okay?
Yeah.
Hold this until after the song is over. So then we went out and we did it, and it just kept getting bigger and bigger with the big choir and everything. And I felt really still inside it. And so did she. So afterward, when we looked back on it and we saw, at the time we couldn't see what the guys up, the Zeppelin guys were doing or feeling or anything. We were too far away. But looking back on it later on YouTube and everything and on TV, we were just like, holy crap. Talk
about a heart moment. You know?
Gulp, you know. It was really an amazing, astounding moment for us. But like I said, really still.
Yeah.
That's how I liked it.
A peace.
Yeah.
gosh, it's just incredible. I love how that choir comes in, how you
Yeah.
attack that last part. It's heaven.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Kind of ending on this is, your legacy. I mean, you've left such a legacy that even a band like Evanescence or, bands that look up to you, even I've heard Alanis Morissette say, that Heart was a big influence and so many others. Looking back on your life, what accomplishment means the most to you?
What accomplishment?
For everything combined.
I think the biggest accomplishment for me, and I think Nancy would say the same thing, is just keeping a hold of ourselves. Because the whole thing of, do you have number one hits? Do you not have number one hits? What do you look like? Who are you? What do you sound like? Are you popular? Or are you relevant? All that stuff can really stir up your mind, stir up your soul. If you can keep a hold of yourself, then I'd say that's an accomplishment.
Absolutely. With that journey, a rock star's journey, the double A side of your life that you leave to people, what would that be? What two songs would be on that? Because you talk about balance. What would be those two songs be?
Double A side, wow. Thanks a lot. Well, Barracuda would be on one side.
Of course.
And Dog and Butterfly would be on another.
Well, two great, exceptional songs. I want to also recognize, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. What the hell took them so long? I think that's what most people feel as well. But
well, I don't know. It's a pretty political process, I think. Of who,
especially for women.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't even going to say that, but since
I'll
you
say
did,
it. Hey, I will. Because there's a lot of women that are not in there that were
They do have a
lot of bands
have a
too.
woman issue. It's remarkable that like this year, Joan Jett finally gets inducted.
Mm-hmm.
But she is in such a minority, and that's not natural.
No.
I don't know what the problem is there. I think it's because as a Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, I can tell you firsthand that you don't pitch to get yourself in there.
No.
It's you have to be invited.
Well, it's very interesting because like Paul McCartney, it took so long, and it took, the bands that aren't in there like Journey, I think should be, and things like that. And the Rush, it took so long. So it's it's like, no offense to Donna Summer or Madonna, but they're more rock and roll than, so.
Yeah. No, it's a very strange thing. I think that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has opened up its umbrella to include other types of genre than just rock now. Because Donna Summer is in there. It's not just the Rock and Roll, or maybe the word rock and roll is just taken on more colors now.
Yeah.
But it's a very strange thing.
If they put Britney Spears in, I'm going to stop being a believer. I'll just say that right now. But I'm going to leave you the last word. What is coming up next for you? I know that it's mentioned that you're going to do a little a tour yourself, and tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I am planning on doing a side project to Heart, not putting the lid on Heart by any means, but this is just something kind of like the Love Mongers was a parallel project, and where I'm not going to necessarily sing Heart songs, might sing one or two, I don't know.
Yeah.
But what I want to do is I want to sing the blues. I want to sing really heavy stuff. I want to do some covers that because I started out in bands doing covers in clubs. It's not unfamiliar to me. It's fun, So that's what I want to do with this thing. And right now we are on I'm on tour with Heart.
Well,
Just
you're
got
gonna
off
play 80
last
shows.
night.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so we have the two of them intermingled right now. So I'm working hard.
You are.
I'm doing it. I've got 2 jobs.
Well, Ann, this has been extraordinary. Thank you so much for taking the time.
It has been. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You're an incredible vocalist and incredible
you.
writer, and thank you for the soundtrack to our lives.
You're welcome.
All right, to end on, Ann didn't sing lead on their #1 hit, These Dreams. She let sister Nancy do it, and it actually became their first #1 hit. I guess Nancy had a really bad cold, and she recorded the vocal with that cold. And, you know, she went in a few weeks later to re-record it. But it just didn't sound as cool. So they kept the vocal with her being sick, and that's the vocal you hear. Leave us a comment about Ann Wilson, about Heart, about all these albums. Would you like us to see an update? This was a few years ago when we did this with Ann. I'd like to get with her again. What else would you like to see? What other interviews? Let us know if you like our content. We invite you to subscribe. Love to have you as part of our community. Until next time, 3 chords and the truth, my friends.